We're glad you decided to check out this message by Seabreeze Church and hope that you benefit from it. We also hope that you would join us either online or in person on a Sunday. We have a 9 o'clock live stream service online, and then we have in-person services on our campus at 9 and 10:30. So again, we hope that you would join us, and we hope that you enjoy this message.
Well, good morning. Like Elliot said, my name is Ethan. I'm the family pastor here. Now, for years, my kids wanted a dog. They just really wanted a dog. And so they had these strategies where they would try to talk me and my wife into getting them a dog. One of their strategies is they kind of come together and they'd say, "Dad, you can have all of our money so you can afford a dog." I think their plan was to break the piggy banks and give me their money because that was the hurdle. I just needed the money. So I would explain, guys, it's not that I don't have the money to buy a dog. You guys don't have the money to buy the dog. I have the money to buy a dog. It's not about the money. So then, of course, they would say, well, then why can't we get one? That's logical. So I would explain, okay, so maybe a small part is the money. There are other things that I would like to spend money on than dog food. So I'll give you that. Another thing, though, is space. We have limited space in our place, not really conducive for a dog. But the real main reason is time and energy. It takes so much time and energy to feed and train and care for you guys, my kids. I don't have time to train, feed, and care for a dog too. I can't keep all of you guys going, sorry. But in time, what happened is our resources, they began to shift, right? Namely, the kids, they got older and they became more self-sufficient. And so we decided, I think we have the time and energy resources to go out and get a dog. So we moved a fence on our patio to a new location to help with that space resource. We put a line in our budget of pet care so we could allocate the financial resources for that. And then we went out and we got June. So this is our dog, June. We have had her, not surprisingly, since June. And so in this case, what happened was our limited resources, they forced us to prioritize, my wife and I. Are we going to care for kids or are we going to care for a dog? Because we're pretty sure we can't do both. And that's really what happens. That's the reality of what limited resources does. Limited resources forces us to prioritize some things over others. And so today what we're doing is we're starting a series called Limited Resources. And we're going to consider some of the resources that God has entrusted to us in limited amounts. And we're going to ask how we can use those resources according not just to our priorities, but use those resources to God's priorities. The resources that we're going to look at, first we're going to look at time. I took a random online life expectancy calculator this week, so take this with a grain of salt. According to this online life expectancy calculator, a 38-year-old male in good health, which I consider myself to be, can expect to live to be 85 years old. So that would give me 17,003 days left, more or less. So that means on Wednesday, I'll cross that 17,000 days to live mark. So looking forward to that. Now, I might live a little more. I might live a little less. It could be a lot less. But regardless, my days are limited. My timeline, it's going to start and it's going to end. We're also going to look at the body. Our time is directly connected to our body. That life expectancy calculator, it asked me questions about my body. Why would it do that? It asked me things like, do I smoke? Do I exercise? Do I sleep well? And that's because the amount of time resource that I have is directly tied to my body resource. When my body ceases to live at that exact same moment, my time resource will run out. In the meantime, though, my body is a resource God's given me, and He expects me to manage that well. Then we're going to look at stuff. My body is tied to my stuff resources. To maintain this body on a timeline, it requires food and it requires shelter. I require financial and physical resources. And this is not an accident. God did this on purpose. He put me in a stuff world and made me to depend on stuff. But He didn't just put me here with stuff. He also put me here with others, with other people. For me, my family represents the closest others in my life. I asked if they could fit all of you guys on this timeline. They said no. So we just have my family on here representing all of the others. And with my family, with everyone else, I have the resource of influence. Like other resources, that it comes in limited amounts. It can be utilized or it can be squandered. This is true with my family. It's true with the thousands of other people that I'll interact with on this timeline. And in each of these areas, some of us, we may have a lot, we may have these in abundance, we may have less, but for all of us, we have these limited resources. This forces us to prioritize our resources.